waiting for someone. Stay tuned, everybody. I'm waiting for someone. Someone special. Waiting for someone. How's everybody day? Is they on here? She on here. What you know about that?
What's up?
Dangerous. If it,
You is
supposed to
crazy.
be, uh, things change. That's the way it is.
Facts.
Now that's that pro-black anthem right there. What you know about that, Steph?
Yeah, I know about it. Facts. Straight facts.
What's up?
Man, what's up? Nothing much. Just chilling, relaxing.
Same. We were supposed to do this yesterday, but I was lit.
Hell yeah, you
But
were.
wait. It's the fifth, right? The fourth. No, we supposed to do this 2 days ago, right?
Show was. You was lit. It's all good.
Yo,
You got to
I
turn
gotta
up.
tell you about that situation later.
Hell yeah.
That's crazy, crazy. But I'm glad we got to talk though, cause last time you was on there, you was speaking some facts. You was talking about the whole situation. I feel like I was listening to myself. Like I know, like I used to think, like, damn, am I fucking crazy? Like when that shit aired, I was just thinking, like, damn, like, am I just peeping shit? But the crazy thing is, like, a whole bunch of other people used to peep stuff, and they didn't say nothing.
Correct.
I was the only one. I was the only one on Facebook going crazy, social media going crazy. So
Yeah, that was
I mean,
straight facts.
I kind of want you to leave because you be speaking facts. I mean, I don't know. It's a whole lot. I don't even know where to begin.
Shoot.
I don't.
Let me see. Like it's hard to know where to begin. I'm trying to share this. You think I know how to share stuff? Like I really don't. We'll share that later. Anyway, so I'm trying to figure out what life is. Yeah, I
Yo,
don't
no
even
lie,
know.
I ain't know how to do it either. Huh?
You ain't know you could do what?
I said no lie, I ain't know how to do it either. I didn't even know Facebook had parties.
I didn't. What is a watch party?
Um, I think it's when you schedule something and you invite a whole bunch of people.
Oh, I don't even. I just started a watch party. I have no clue what I just did. So
You started. Oh God.
yeah, you know I'm crazy out here. That's just me. But where do I start? I guess like because me and you, we both did the show. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
from doing the show, like from actually just going in and doing the show. I'm just like it's not gonna be anything. Like it just
So when you did it, what was you told it was going to be? Because I was told something else.
hold on.
I was told something else.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
I
This
was
thing is
lied to
so
multiple times.
okay. I'm good.
I was lied to most. I was lied to multiple times, and I was told it was gonna be something totally different at the beginning.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
I got you. You got
It should be. Can you hear me now?
they can hear us.
Hold on.
They can hear you.
Hold on. Okay, I had to end a live watch party because I was out of control. But anyways, it was like doing two things at one time. I'm like, I can't hear myself. But what
Oh,
what was your question?
I said so. I mean, to get into it, because we really gonna talk about like the different, the different shit within like the entertainment industry when they, especially like the whole TV situation, and they want to stereotype and they want to lie and tell stories about this, that, and the third. I basically was asking you like, what was you told when it was first presented? Because I was told something totally different, and then it was lied. They lied to me, and it was something totally different. So I wanted to know what was your first experience like? Wait. What was your first experience looking and being like, all right, this is some bullshit? Oh, where'd Steph go? I love you too. Trinity Cunningham. Love you too. Damn, where's Steph at? Wait. Yeah, we about to get into it, but we having a little bit of technical difficulties right now. So we definitely about to get into it. Alright, cool. Let me see. How I bring Steph back? She requested. I was about to say we old. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was technical problems.
You alright?
I'm like, that watch party thing, I don't know about that. It was like, it was delayed, so I was hearing myself when I was talking, and then I was listening to you when you were still talking. I'm like, uh. So we're going to get right into it. Go ahead and ask your question.
Alright, hold up. Alright. So basically I wanna know, like, where did it start to go downhill for you? Like, because I also want to know what was you told when you first was presented with the situation of the whole show, but
Yeah.
also when did you start realizing it was some bullshit? Because I feel like I had that moment when I start realizing, like, all right, I was done dirty and that wasn't right. So what was your down peak moment?
I feel like my down peak moment was honestly when we was on the reunion. We was on set. And they start, first of all, I didn't like the host. I still don't like her. And she start asking questions and she start cutting me off.
It's a girl.
Yeah, it was Soledad O'Brien.
Was it just who is that? Who's Soliday O'Brien? Is she
You,
like a
that
news
beats me. I
anchor or
didn't know who
something,
she
or
was
was it?
either.
Because I didn't know who Dan was until I actually looked him up. So
See, I had to too.
okay, Solid Dan O'Brien. Mm-hmm. Okay, why you didn't like her?
I didn't like her because of how she presented herself and plus how she presented others. First of all, she seemed really entitled, like we were supposed to know who she was. I'm like, I don't know you. I'm not being funny. This is my first time meeting you. And not only that, but she constantly cut the women off. I mean, she cut me off a lot, but she would cut the women off and she would always let the men speak more. And like she told us to shut up. And I'm like,
Right.
girl.
She told who to shut up.
So me and Jackie was going back and forth, and she was like, "Just shut up, shut up." She's like, "I beat you guys up myself," and I'm like, "Okay."
The crazy thing is, I seen a clip. The way they talk to y'all, they would have never talked to us like that. But
Facts.
it always was some type of it always was some type of we're better than y'all type of situation. Like, for instance, right?
Correct.
When, like, you get what I'm saying? It's always been some type of just, oh, like, who, like, everybody settle down, or they try to single somebody out, or they cutting somebody off. Like, for instance, they used to do this to Robert. Like, everybody would talk crap about Robert and
Mhm.
etc. And honestly, Robert isn't as bad as it seems. It just, once they don't like somebody, they put on a bandwagon. And what makes me, and I know I'm going off the topic, but what makes me more drawn to you is because I kind of seen how they was playing your situation. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't really watch none of the other seasons,
Mhm.
but I was just looking at how everything was going and how everybody had something to say, and then knowing, I'm not gonna say the person, but knowing the person name who you have the biggest problem with, this is what people don't know. Before she did your show, or before she, and this is multiple people who do this. They used to do this a lot. Before any season aired, or before people go on and do their season, they like to hit up other participants when they're in the middle of, and when they're in the middle of getting past it. So they damn near be already on the show, and that person that you're talking about, she hit up me, and I kind of knew that you weren't full of bullshit because I seen, because me and you never talked today. in life, like
Mm-mm.
face to face or on the phone. This is our first time, everybody. But when you said something like the real reason why you wanted to go home was because you wanted to smoke weed and etc. And that's why you really left. Am I not right? Or am I not right?
I mean, yeah, that was definitely right. And then I
It
also
was
wanted to go home
something.
because
No, not you,
oh
not you.
oh
Her.
her, I was about to say like yeah, I mean, yeah, I do that too. But you know, her definitely her thing was she wanted to go home because she wanted to smoke. She also wanted to take her child to Disney World, and she had told me like she was not going to fulfill the whole 60 days. So when I'm sitting there, I'm just like,
But you want to know what's crazy? You want to know what's crazy? And it made me really mad because everything that you telling me right now, and I've seen you post this before too. Say, she wanted to just go smoke, take her child to Disneyland. Everything that you just told me was said to me over the phone. That's how I know you're not full of bullshit. That's how I know. And we not going to stay on the character too long because I feel like the character just wants to, get entertainment purposes, and we really trying to bring awareness.
correct,
But because I really don't like how they did you at all. But it was just a certain thing where it was like, okay, they didn't crucify Stephanie one, two, three times. Now, how long are you going to drag it along? You get what I'm
correct,
saying? And I don't like that. And then when you get mad because I'm under your post uplifting you, and she get mad because of something totally different. It's like, whoa, like I'm just trying to uplift this queen. Like, why shouldn't y'all all be uplifted? Why should you still get punched in the neck for something that was edited, not even showing the true facts or what really was going on?
correct. And like
Right?
everything you
Like,
said was so true. That is like so true because I felt and I still feel this way to this day. Like that's how they played my character because that wasn't me. They played my character like I'm just like this evil, mean, crazy person, and like people
right.
wasn't wanting to hear the facts. Like even when people's like, "Oh, I want to hear her side. I want her to speak out," but then when I did, it's like, "Oh, she's lying. She's not telling the whole story. Like she's just making stuff up." I'm like, first of all, over $32,000, I don't have to lie.
Right.
None. And because, and even people know for when, even though you don't, you know this, once we sign our life away and we are contracted for a certain amount of years, even if you speak out or talk, most likely they're not going to work with you again. And I took that chance because I
Of
didn't
course.
care. I said, that's not my character.
Right.
That's not me. And I did get my money at the end. I said, now I'm going to speak out whether they like it or not because I don't want to work for A&E. I don't care.
Right. And my whole thing is another reason why I don't want to work for them is because after that whole situation, y'all had a whole show about the KKK about to come out. Y'all following the KKK, but y'all claim that y'all love all these lives and stuff, and that's like a really bad hate group. Like, why would y'all ever think that that was cool? That just showed that y'all do stuff for ratings. Because why would y'all ever think that was cool to put that on y'all network?
Correct. I had the same thing. Like I actually emailed them and I'm like,
Right.
look, whatever producer I was working with at that time, I said, I'm not doing this. Whatever little show y'all trying to come out with now, because there is I don't know if they had told you, but there was another show they wanted us to do. And it was like they reached out to us. I specifically emailed them and said, I no longer want to work with you all. You all did the KKK thing. I no longer want to do anything. And plus, I don't want to go back to jail. So, no, I don't want to work with you all because I don't like how you portray
So
people.
the same show that you're talking about hinting at, they presented the same show to y'all.
Literally, it was like the same show, but they didn't tell us. But I believe because I heard from other people who did the show, they said it was supposed to be Narcoland. You know, when Narcoland came out, I guess they was gonna get us and put us back into Narcoland. But I'm like, I don't want to do a show with you. I don't want to go in any jail. No. And for them to had
Right.
like for them to told me like when the show came out, it was like, well, don't take it too seriously. Don't take it too seriously. This is a show that's in a jail with real people who go in jail with charges, petty charges or not. And you're telling me not to
Right.
take it as a joke. It's nothing that's funny about it.
and that's and that's my thing. They try to sit there and say that Robert was taking it as a joke, but if we want to be technical, they was betting on who was going to make it. Like on my season, they was like, oh, I forgot which producer it was. I think it was Jeff and somebody else, but they was like, oh, Isaiah, what he said, he was like, yeah, I lost my money on you or something like that. And I was like, why? And he was like, because I said that you wasn't gonna make it, but I think his name was Will, but Will said you was, and all this other stuff. And these could be the wrong people, but this was the conversation that happened with producers. And I was like, I was just sitting there thinking like, I'm over here trying to finesse, get out of this bad situation, still keep sane, because when you be in there, you be going crazy. Number
Facts.
one, when you just sitting bored. So y'all sitting over here betting on me, and I could possibly really get hurt. That's what people don't understand. People think we watched all the time. I don't know about y'all season, but these motherfuckers used to go home on the weekend. Like, they used to go to hotels and stuff on the weekends. Like, it
Yeah.
wouldn't be nobody up in the box.
That's what they did on our season, and see, and that's why people don't get the show. Like people went on the weekend, they went home to hotels. There was no cast member. There was not cast members. There was
Hotels.
no producers in the jail. Period, looking after us. So when they said they looked after us 24/7, that was false. They would go home on Friday. They would come back on Monday.
We would see them to Monday. Yep. Yep. It's just it's crazy how they sat there and just told lies and finesse certain situations. Like, for instance, right, when you get into like editing and like stuff like that, like, I understand stuff is gonna be edited, but mostly, and I'm not gonna throw nobody under the bus. I'm not gonna say a name, but on my season, the participants had this situation where, and mostly with me, but the participants had this situation where there was this one participant, and they was like putting everybody else's character down, and they was putting this one participant up high. And me, I stayed in the same pod with certain people, so I know situations that didn't get aired. So it's like, okay, y'all gonna do all of my dirt wrong, but then when it comes to this person, he barely, they barely had a lot of slip up, so you can't put that slip up in there. What's the ulterior motive? You get what I'm saying? It's
Oh
one of those
yeah.
things where it's like, and people could sit there and lie all they want. I got, before my cast, and I'm not that type of person to put shit out, but before my cast, before I had any issues with my cast, I used to be cool with everybody. I'm not that type of person. I would rather unity than to sit here and beef with everybody. But before the whole cast fell out, and because everybody basically got mad because a lot of people felt like they got done wrong, and their characters got put down to a certain person's character.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, it was like I still got all of these messages from every other participant except for Miriam, because I don't know her like that. Muhammad Ali daughter, except for Miriam, because I don't know her like that. I still got all these messages from everybody complaining about the same person that A&E did editing from that made us look like shit. And then what I don't like, and this is what really gets into like a whole, them playing a role of this, Caucasian person should be on top of this, that, and third, and not always bringing race, but this is how I felt. It was like I had all these different types of friends, and I was making waves, and you know, they start comparing me to somebody, and A&E even has it on their page. They have a thing where it's like, since Isaiah has met such and such, he is doing good and doing better. Hold up, we we was cool, but we wasn't that cool. I had better other friends that helped me out than this person. So now, since y'all know we was cool, it's now they helped them out. What's the motive? And I'm gonna give you the court in just a second. But my whole thing was like, and I especially hate they do this. They do this with like people who were cops and served in certain situations. You know what I'm hitting at?
Yep.
They try to make it seem like, when are we going to get to see another story? Why do we get seeing the same story? And I appreciate them for their service. I'm not a hater. You get what I'm saying? I appreciate you for your service.
Mhm.
But why you keep trying to downplay my life and make it seem like, oh, Isaiah just smoking crack sticks and he depressed and y'all ain't showing none of the good that I did. They don't show that I put $100 and something on somebody's books after I left. Because me personally, when I care about you or I fuck with you, I fuck with you. I don't care how we met, through what it is. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Definitely. Like I totally feel you. And that's what happened. That was the same thing that happened to me and it was so irritating. Like first of all, even when they cast the people for the show, they always have to have a police officer. And again, yeah, they protect. That's what they do. That's their job. That's what they chose. But every show has a
right.
cop in it. Every show. I don't understand why. If it's not a cop, it's a military person. For what purpose?
There you
Like
go.
I don't
There
get
you
it.
go.
And then they go and want to bring back,
Right.
okay, so this person does nothing. This person is a teacher. This person is black. They always got to have some kind of black person in there. And it always comes out that, and again, I hate to bring race in it too, but we're always coming out to be like they're ghetto and it's a race thing. Like this black person's
Crazy.
ghetto. They
Right.
don't do anything. They're crazy. Because what it boiled down to at the end of the show, because people didn't know anything about me, it boiled down to, oh, Stephanie's crazy. She's uneducated. She threw her under the bus. And she's cold hearted. That's what it boiled down to. And again, they did the same thing to me. They didn't show where I stood, and I hate to bring up her name, but they didn't show the fact that when Swole was going to spit on her, because that was true facts. I stood in the medicine
Right.
line in front of her because I'm like, I'm not gonna let her spit on you. They that got cut out, and I'm trying to figure out what that was.
Y'all, did you guys know each other was a part of the system or no?
The second day, yes, because she had messed up, and whether she did it on purpose or not, she messed up because she looked at her wristband and she had to remember her name. Where I'm like, oh, I already know you a part of under 60 days in because you don't. Nobody in here needs to look at their wristband to know who they are in jail.
She fucked up. Yeah, she she fucked up.
And
Right.
it was
Right.
numerous occasions that happened, that she messed up and that her cover story was 3 or 4 different cover stories. And mind you, I was like, I told her this to her face. I said, you cannot keep switching your cover story. These people in here are really smart. You may think they're stupid
Right.
because they're black, but they're really
Right.
smart and they pick up on that. And like, and when we would talk, I said,
Right.
hey, we need to pretend that we girlfriends, like that we go out, because if we do, nobody's gonna think you're undercover, because nobody thought I was undercover. Nobody suspected me, period.
Right. It's it's just like, so with the whole Swole situation, right?
Hmm.
Did anybody start to suspect about like y'all? Not you, but
Yeah.
her.
Oh, definitely. And she didn't understand that, but I already told her that, like, hey, everybody knows you're a part of 60 Days In, because my cell will always talk about her 24/7, saying that she was a part of 60 Days In. And I will be quiet. Like sometimes I'll be quiet, and sometimes I'm like, yeah. And I'm sorry, I had to say that because like I didn't want anybody to know I'm undercover. My job in there, and
Right.
I make this very clear, whether people hate me or not. My job was not to protect other people. My job was not to hold their hand. That was not my job in there. And my job was not to protect her. It was to
Right.
protect me, because who else was protecting me? Nobody. So with the Swole situation, like it was just a mess. Like it was a mess. Like everybody knew she was part of 60 Days In. So then they go and say, when we're walking around, because I know everybody want to know the situation because it's been told so many different ways. The truth of the story
Uh huh.
was everybody in my cell was cool. That day we walked out, I'm like, hey, I told her I'm gonna switch beds and go in there. First of all, because I wanted to be in there with Jackie, but I wanted to be in there with somebody else who I knew, like they had all the drugs, they had everything. So I'm like, I want to go in that cell specifically. Period, flat out. So I'm like, I'm gonna go in here, and then they was like, well, change your beds over.
Right.
You got to hurry up and do it. And when the COs come in, just say the previous CEO switched your name in the book. So I'm like, cool, I'll say that. By the time I switched my bed, like at first, like Swollen, they was like, why you switching your bed? I was like, I'm just switching my bed because I don't want to be in here. Like I'm just switching my bed. It's not because I have an issue with y'all. Like I'm just switching my bed. So I told them that. So when we were walking around the thing, me and
Was
Jackie,
Swole like a pop boss?
she kind of, yeah. So when Lyric left, Lyric was the pop boss. When Lyric left, Swole and Kay took over as pop bosses.
Right.
Like so they took over, but Lyric was the pop boss of everybody. Like bigger, I know she was small, but she was the head pop boss, and that was just it. But and then we gonna get on Lyric in a minute because I think people got a different thing for her. But me and Jackie walking around. She's like, "Hey, how you gonna tell them you switched your bed? Tell them they're bullying you." And I'm like, "No, that is a terrible thing to say. No, because they're not bullying me." And she opens up her
And that
mouth.
that could come back on you.
Correct. And she opened up her mouth and she's like, they're bullying her. And then that's when Swole comes out and she got pissed. She was like, ain't nobody bullying her. Ain't nobody bullying that girl. And that's when The other CEO came in. She was like, by the way, since we bullying you, she moved her bed. She moved her bed over there. And I'm like, I did not say that. And I clearly said that. And the thing I was like, I didn't
Right.
say that. And so Jackie's still standing right there. And then she got mad at me because she was like, she not saying nothing. Which I didn't say anything. I said that I didn't say that. And so Swole got mad at Jackie. She was like, I'm gonna spit in your face, I'm gonna hit you, I'm gonna beat you up. Because that was unnecessary for her to do that because I literally told her not to do that. So once we go on our
Right.
sales, the doors locked, we go on our sales. I had to move my bed back. Me and Swole got into it, and it wasn't like she was going to beat me up. No, she did get into it with me, and she was like, "You sticking up for that racist ass bitch? You sticking up for her? You a black bitch trying to be white?" Because she, I mean, she was
Why?
pissed.
Why did they feel like she was racist?
They felt like she was racist because when she, even before I got in, it was like she would always scream to the CEOs and everybody else, like, everybody's racist in here, everybody's racist. She'd tell people to their face, she's like, you're racist. Everybody in here is racist. She said that.
So you heard her
Yeah,
say that.
oh, I heard her say that. She said that constantly, like everybody in here is racist. It was a big thing because you running around telling people racist, so they gonna get mad, and that's why they gonna want to fight you because you saying everybody in this facility racist, the inmates, the CEOs, we all racist.
And she from Chicago or something, right?
Correct.
So I mean, don't get me wrong. I do understand when you go to a city like y'all was in Atlanta, right?
Oh, yeah, and it's real different there.
Yeah, yeah. When y'all go to a city like Atlanta or in my sake Indiana, because when I told my mom I was going to Indiana, she almost cried.
Yeah.
She was like, "No, number one, I don't want you going there because of the fact that I feel like they're on some other stuff that they racist, and it didn't. I'm not gonna say I encountered any racist people down there
Mhm.
because it was like they did have like the Aryan Brotherhood and stuff. I don't know. You know who that is?
No, I don't.
It's like a racist, like it's like a group that goes back. Back in the day, they basically they get these tattoos on each other to symbolize like white
Mm.
power. They actually had like some of those people in the jail. So I never had a conversation with them because you know they really don't like black people, but it was never any issues. So it just I don't know. I mean, I could get her being fidgety, but I also feel like you know she just it, you got those participants. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's straight bullshit. Like
definitely.
straight bullshit.
And I totally feel
And
you on that. Like I
mm-hmm.
totally feel
Straight bullshit.
where you could come from because she does come from Chicago. Now where she comes from in Chicago specifically, I don't know. And I guess like when I was like, well, you think everybody racist? I was like, I think, and I didn't have any problem with her at that point where I was like, oh, she's racist. I had a problem with her after the show, and I'm like, well, she just might be because there was things that led me up to that because it's like, okay, yeah, I get that you're from Chicago, and totally you go into Atlanta, and it's all your whole surrounding is different. You're full of black people, and now you're the minority. We're the minority in
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Right.
So when she goes in there, I could see how that you get your emotions are overflooded. You gotta constantly lie every day and think about something, and then you like, okay, well, everybody's racist in here because that's how I'm going to deal with it, that's how I feel, and I'm in jail and people treat me differently. But it was because she made herself a target, and it was just like from the CEOs, some of the CEOs didn't have any issue with her. She would make an issue with them, and she's like, well, they're racist. I'm like, they're not racist because they're not letting you out. They're not letting us out either. That doesn't make them racist. They're doing their job, and because doing their job is affecting you, and you're getting mad because you feel like you're entitled, you're not, because you have to forget at the end of the day you signed up for this and you're an inmate just like everybody else. You're not any more entitled than any one of us.
Right. So when you say they let her out, like let her out into the day room
Yeah,
or
she wanted to get let out to make phone calls, or she wanted to get let out because one time she actually went somewhere else. Like she went to like some kind of holding cell. They took her to some holding cell. And I'm gonna tell you why, because she has screamed everybody's racist. Like she screamed like she didn't want to take her stuff off that she made. And the stuff that she made in jail, I will say it was really nice. She's a really talented person. However, you couldn't wear that. So she's like, I'm not taking this off. I don't know why we should take it off. We should be allowed to do this. Like she was always one of those. And so they took her, they handcuffed her, and they took her to the holding cell. When she came back, and no, I didn't ask about her. Actually, when she came back, she's like, oh, they ripped. me and Lyric and a lot of people didn't believe it. She came to the table. She's like, they ripped my nails off. They drugged me on the floor. And I'm like, I'm not buying that. And I'm sorry that I'm not. I'm just not buying that the CEOs ripped your nails off and dragged you by your hair.
What? Was this shown?
No, it was cut out.
Everything you telling me, it does not exist.
No, it doesn't exist anywhere. It doesn't exist. The racist part doesn't exist. Getting her drug and her nails getting picked off doesn't exist.
Okay. And do you feel like the producers on your season made any type of protection for certain people? Like, you know how they have they type of people where they, like, not a golden edit,
Hmm.
but we gonna protect them and make sure nothing happens to them because we feel like they might be an asset. Which most of the time, the people that they pick turns out to not be the golden people that everybody loves.
Correct.
It's
So
this. It's a fact.
facts. Like they made. Now I don't believe I was an asset, not at all, because I think they felt like because I'm black and I mixed in with them that I could handle myself. However, I feel like Jackie was an asset to them because they made special accommodations for her, and I'm gonna tell you what accommodations they made that were cut out also. So people wanted to know where Lyric was in the whole show. Lyric was there at one point. Lyric left and went to a different pod because Jackie told the producers that she did not feel safe around her. And Lyric did tell Jackie that she wanted to beat her ass. Now, for what reason, I don't know. I just know that what Jackie told me about that situation. And she told the producers, and the producers had Lyric removed.
So, and let's get on that. I felt like it was certain things that they used to do that they would air, but they wouldn't say nothing about it. Like, for instance, when you said she told them about such and such and they got her moved. When I first got there, right?
Hmm.
Um, they what is it called? Classifications.
Yeah.
Did y'all have classifications? I was in classifications for about 4 to 5 days. I don't remember. I don't think classification had cameras in it, but when I went to classifications, I never received a phone call from that one day to that 4 day. It might have been 5 days. Don't get me wrong. But when I went into the other pod and I sat there for almost 2 weeks and I didn't receive a phone call, and then they show it on TV like fucking with my shit behind scenes, and I'm gonna let you know how I know they was fucking with my stuff. I didn't receive a phone call for like 2 weeks, so it's almost about 3 weeks maybe. It might have been 2 weeks and a half. That's too long. Number one. Two, everybody else on that show received got they inmate numbers and stuff within about 3 to 4 days, I believe, maybe a week. So I was the only one that had problems with it. So now everybody, some of the supporters of the show, I'm sorry to say, they not really up to intellect on what we be trying to speak to them because it's certain processes of how everything moves. I don't care if you've been in jail or
Hmm.
not. In certain jails, it's different, especially in that area or that time. So it baffled me that, especially when I watched it back, that I was the only one that didn't receive an inmate number, but you show everybody else. And then I got to take it here where Miriam, yes, she's a black woman, but what people don't understand is Miriam is a black woman of a celebrity boxer. So Miriam gets put in a whole nother situation. Then she gets put as an elite black person. She gets held on a pedestal.
Hmm.
Me, I get put as a regular stereotype person who y'all thought that I was gonna go in there and do something completely different and make an ass out of myself. That's why people do the whole thing where they like, Isaiah, you so chill, you so quiet, and then they see me online and they like, this is a different person. And this people unfollow me for this. That's people because they they're so confused on how am I this person and how am I that person, because even though I made myself look like an ass a little bit, I'm not gonna sit here and bring it all on the producers, even though it's 75% of the producers, 85. But I'm not gonna let them sit there and make me look like an ass. Like, you know what I had a producer tell me one time? And I used to get up, I used to chill with people, talk. I did sleep a little bit on my day away, but rather than that, I was up. Like, I was talking to people, etc. They made it seem like a producer came up to me one day and said, so we wanted to know, like, could you do something else? And I'm like, is this Tekken? Like, is this Dragon Ball Z? Like, y'all sitting here playing. Like, I could get killed. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. I had friends, and I got into a situation that didn't get aired, but they showed me speaking to it about my mom, where a person said they was gonna take my commissary, and I said I would have caught a homicide. But lo and behold, they like the reason why they started editing me a certain way and like doing me certain ways and reasons is because I wouldn't conform. Like, I had a producer, and I know the name. I know the name. I'm not even gonna say his name because you know, me and you both, we might receive that call after that, and they need to not say nothing to me because it's 5 years later. Don't talk to me. But yeah, it was certain things where it was like, can y'all, can you do something else? And I'm like, bro, like, I sit here, I talk to people. They didn't even show y'all, you know, and I hate to say his name, but Zach was cool with everybody in C Pod. We went to B Pod. No. Zach was cool with everybody in C Pod. They had a scene where, and this is where we start to get into this whole race situation, right? And I hate to put him in it because he's a good person.
Yeah.
He's a good. He's good. I don't really feel like he's a bad guy like that. So he they had this situation where they showed the pop boss in C Pod telling Zach, I got you, whatever you need, etc., etc. You good. After he cleaned the tables and stuff. What they felt the show was, they sat there and made it seem like Isaiah was depressed, he wasn't talking to nobody, etc. When in all honesty, I just don't open up to people that fast. Like, I'm just like, wait, I gotta analyze you, I gotta peep you out, you might be fake as fuck. You get what I'm saying? I'm not just gonna, everybody just not gonna be my friend. Or we just not gonna all be associates. That's not how I get down. But they had the guys tell Zach, you cool, everything, you feel me, we got you. But Steph, where was the scene where the guy came up to my bunk and said, hey, man, whatever you need, I got you. Steph,
Gone.
that shit, it really kind of makes, that shit hurts my heart. Like, why do I have to be made to seem out like I'm having a super tough time, and y'all making this other guy seem like he skyrocketed up when they didn't show a whole situation that this other person had, which I'm not going to speak on because it's not about him. But Steph, like, have you ever had any situations like that where you just start peeping shit? Like, yo, like, what the fuck is going on?
Definitely. And then and it's gonna breed with like the two participants I was in with, so I'm gonna bring them up. So, and I just say people's names because there's only two females in there, so it can't be nobody else. So, like for
Right,
me,
right, right.
I could say Jackie, she slept a lot. She slept. If she didn't sleep, she cried. If she didn't cry, she was on the phone a lot. She didn't do anything. And I'm sorry that she did it. She did not do anything. And no, do I feel like she made a connection? Absolutely not. I don't feel like she had any
You feel
intention.
like she made any friends?
No.
Any
Now
lifelong friends?
she didn't no, she didn't make any lifelong friends. She made a little friendship while she was in there when she like made her stuff, like when she made the clothes and it was all pink, and then she did them again, it was all blue, and then she would like just hang stuff from the ceiling because that's what she made. I feel like she was talented in that way, and she made friends that way. But other
Mm-hmm.
than that, because she told me, she was like, I think I'm starting to find myself. I'm like, I just don't think she was in there for a good reason. And I will say this, I am sorry that her child passed away. And before I get on the other participant,
Yeah.
I know because people act like I don't know what I said because it was after the show and things that were said back and forth between me and her. I know that I spoke on her daughter, and I'm like, such and such and such. This is why your daughter passed away. Like she probably passed away because something. Basically,
I mean,
you killed her. That's what I said.
I heard that you said something like that
Hmm.
before, but you know, we all shit happens. We get into arguments. Like you come
Yeah,
for me, you get what I'm saying.
and
Even
that's
though
the
it's not right, you come for me,
no.
but you get what I'm saying.
And that's the thing. She came for me multiple times. It wasn't that one time on my Facebook. She was trying to come for me multiple times. These is after multiple times. I'm like, look, I don't understand why we can't be in a group chat where like everybody else and just talk. You always trying to come for me every chance you get, and I don't get why. And it's
Online.
because people were starting to not like her, and she didn't like that. So I'm just like, look, I did apologize. I was like, I'm sorry for saying that about your child because at the end of the day, my problem is with you, not about what happened in your past. And I don't feel like she should have been in jail because she was not mentally stable. I did not know also that she used to be a drug addict. I did not know that until after it aired.
On what?
She was on, I don't know what kind of drugs she was on, so I don't want to get it wrong, but I know she was a drug addict. And I didn't know that. So when I'm like giving her whipping and stuff, people act like I knew she had a drug issue. I didn't know that. I had not known that. She never told me that. I didn't know that until I read it on like the A&e website. So I'm like, oh damn, I did offer her that, but I didn't know. So like the show was just editing me out like, oh, she offered her drugs and she knew she was on a drug problem. Like why did she do that? She's such a bad person. But like yeah, I also did drugs in the jail, and just like you say, like I did say stuff and I take accountability for that. However, there's certain scenes that they edited and that was not true. And so I feel like they put her on a pedestal. It's like she's the great person. She's not doing any drugs. She's not doing anything. She's actually making progress, and let's put her up there. For me, I feel like they put me down here. Like, okay, she's just a black person. Let's put her at this level, like with everybody else. Like
Right.
she's taking drugs, she's basically having fun with them, eating. But what they failed to show, and this is what hurt me too, because I can get hurt, it just in a different way. It hurt me that like I made friendships and relationships with the inmates. Like I made a lot of friendships with them, like Lyric, Shy, Swole. Me and Swole was cool too, even though she got on my nerves sometimes. She damn well knew she got on my nerves. And then it was Kay. Like there, Marie, not the one who did the show, but it was so many people I had relationships with, and I knew their stories. And I'm like, damn, I can't believe y'all in the jail for this. And I sat there and talked with them. I sat there and cried with some of these people, and for them not to have
And you
shown
really
that,
sit there and realize.
yeah, for them like, damn, like where was the part where me and Lyric was talking? Where was the part where Lyric came into the pod and she was in my cell and me and her was laying in bed together? Because I did lay in her bed. We did not have sex, but I did lay in her bed. Like I lay in her bed every night. We cuddled. Like we talked about serious stuff. And I'm like, where was that at? Where where was that? Where was the part where me and Prince would play
Where,
basketball and have fun?
where was these real moments where we was really helping people out and
Correct.
shit really
It was
bad?
like where was that at? So like I feel like they put me down here because they like she's not it portrayed the same like she's not helping nobody, she don't care about them, she's not talking about them, all she want to do is drugs and kick people out, which was untrue. And then they made Angel seem like she did fall in love. I will give you that. That was true. I was like, oh, she fell in
Who
love. She
angel?
Angel was the one with like she was like more muscular, she was like more masculine, she was the light skinned
Angela?
one. Yeah.
Her name Angel or Angela?
Angela, but I call her Angel.
Oh,
So it's like they made her be up here, and they're like, oh, she fell in love. Like has this she has this great story. She connected with people, which she did connect with people also, just like me. She connected with
that's the one
people.
they had doing drugs, right?
That's the one. What?
That's the one that they had doing drugs, right?
Yes. So it was like they even though she did drugs, they still made her seem like she was a better character than I was. When really we was on the same page. But mind you, Angel was upstairs. I was downstairs. I did not talk to Angel that much because in jail, in our jail cell, should I say, the bottom ground does not go on the top ground unless your whole cell goes up there or you have a reason to go up there. You don't just go up there. So that was
No, that's the same. That's
yeah.
the same.
So that was our thing. And when I did talk to her, it was every few moments. And like Angel would come down and talk to me. We'd go outside, talk or whatever. So I liked Angel. No, I did not like Jackie, but I did like Angel. I felt like we was connecting. And I felt like she was helping them. Like she talked to them. She wanted real stuff. And her stuff was aired when she talked to them when she made connections, that was there, but mine wasn't. So it made me seem like a shitty person. Jackie was the angel, and I kicked her out, and it made it seem like Angel was she wanted people to know that they were valued, and I believe that she does have that kind of heart. But I'm like, that was really fucked up to me because afterwards, and whatever had transpired between when we got off the show and set, and then I start watching the show, and then Angel was like, "Well, Stephanie didn't really care about anybody anyway. She didn't care about anybody." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, I don't understand how that even came out when I never had an issue with Angel, like never. And that came out. She was like, Stephanie didn't care about anybody in this jail. So it made everybody else believe that I didn't care about people. I was just in there just to be in there. And I'm just in there getting a check, which I really did not care anything about at the end of the day. What's $32,000 when you take taxes out? Mind you, nobody really got their money but me, and people don't understand that. Jackie didn't get the rest of her money. Angel did not get the rest of her money. Now, if they did, it was because they probably said whatever line that the producers wanted them to say. And yes, I do believe somebody coerced Angel to say that so she could get her money or whatever the case was, because and I'm not trying to be funny. I have a lot of love for Angel. However, I'm just speaking facts. The one of the main producers, the female producer, she's a big. You already know who I'm talking about. She's a big producer on that show. She,
Pointy,
huh? Yep.
pointy,
Yes, she knew her.
kind of horrorish a little bit.
Yeah, she knew her. She knew her, and she put her into the
She
show.
get on my nerves. She get on my nerves.
And that's what was fucked up though. Like people don't know that. They be like, "Oh, all these people signed up as Stephanie." No, 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 no. All the people who did the show, only about one or two people did not sign up. Everybody had was on different shows that they didn't make, and they put us on this show. Like, yeah, I admit 5 years ago, before that show even transpired, I had signed up for Survivor, and I did not make it to the finals. I made it to the semifinals. So I'm like, oh fuck it, I don't ever want to. I don't. I never even did it again, did an application. And the 5 years when I applied for that show, mind you, it was still years ago because another producer had picked me up. And she's like, hey, I think you would be good for Survivor. This was off of old videos I had made years and years and years ago. And then they made it seem like, oh, she didn't make it on Survivor, so she just wants to hop on different shows. No, that wasn't the case. But like, mind you,
Oh, and they put that in there.
correct.
But my thing is, they can't knock you because if you want to be technical, check everybody else's roster on season one. Check and they it was a moment in time after the show aired where we were 7 episodes in and they start putting that like you know how some of the supporters be I don't like to call them fans like that, but you know how some of the supporters
Yeah.
be where they put stuff out. Everybody on my season did something else before they did that. And it was people still like, oh, I think Isaiah follower, or they made it to seem some type of way. And when you say, you know, you feel like they got coerced, there was a certain situation where, and this brings back to where I was telling you about the Powerball situation with me and Zach. There was another situation where they was asking me about Trayshawn and DeAndre when me and Zach both got moved into D-Pod. And this is where I started to realize Zach was a participant as well. They got these situations. They asked us. They was like, what is your take on Trayshawn and DeAndre? I said from the fact, I was like, you know, I don't really feel like I need to be close towards them, blase. I don't really feel like, you know, they good. Like not at the time, I really didn't feel like these people, and somewhat I still don't feel like not good people, but I don't feel like they're good to be around because of what type time
Yeah.
we was in. So now this is where it gets funny at, right? This was in the mix of the show. They after they after that when they asked me that when we went home, they you know I don't know if y'all ever sent in voice notes, but they for like voiceovers.
Oh yeah, we had to do
But
the voiceovers, but we didn't get sent. They came to our house.
okay, so they sent over voice notes. Well, they didn't send over voice notes. They asked me for voice notes on my phone, and they said, "Can you do?" Because sometimes when you do certain stuff, they give you money, or you know what I mean, like because this is work and etc. So they said, Isaiah, if you say this, I still have the email. There's lines for me to say on certain voiceovers on certain parts that's coming on.
Mhm.
Not a lot of them, because a lot of them didn't play. Because I catch everything. Before I did TV, I used to study that. Like I caught it. They said, and they topped it off to kind of like undermine me. It said, yeah, Trey Sean's cool. He's okay. I don't got no problems. Basically saying like, not saying what I said before, like, oh, I don't really want to be near him because they be getting into a lot of drama. But it was just me saying, like, after the whole situation had ended and we was out the jail, it was basically me saying, like, oh, he's cool. I don't got no problems. Da 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 da. Because, like you said, I went in there and I learned people, and I learned he ain't really a fucked up person that gets into fights and stuff, because he's the one that jumped certain people in our season. I realized that he's a troubled person, just like some people that come from my hood is, and that come from certain situations. So me being that, I said, you know what, I can say this line because I don't feel like it was not completely untrue.
Mhm.
Why did they put what I said after the whole show didn't air, what they didn't ask me in the middle of the show, and put at that same scene that I guess they wanted me to say at the beginning, in the middle that I didn't say? They put it right there. And then in the same episode, they had Zach say his take on the situation, and they had me say my take on the situation. And guess what Zach's take was? Oh, I don't really want to be near them because it's a lot of problems. So I try to keep my distance and da 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 da. But who just said the same thing? And then y'all waited until the show had ended to ask me to do a voiceover because I wouldn't do the Where Are They Now for certain lines that was episodes that was airing. So it just it was crazy to me, because how can y'all sit there, and I told y'all that I wasn't gonna say this, but y'all undermined it and y'all try to cut it short so y'all can still put that scene in, and then y'all had this guy, and I don't know what the ulterior motive is, which me and you both kind of feel like we know what it is. Certain
Mhm.
producers, but how can you try to say like y'all gonna let him say this, but since I'm this black guy from Philly, all this other stuff. Now I gotta be like, oh yeah, I don't got no problems, he cool, and then that's how y'all let my storyline off with.
Yeah, and
When I just said the same thing as him,
that's exactly
that
what
I don't really
happened.
want to be with him.
That's exactly what happened to me too. And I feel like before I even get to a lot of other participants, I feel like that happened to me too. And then on the set, like when we went to reunion, mind you, the world only seemed 2 hours when I was sitting on the set for 6 damn hours for $1,000 check. Like I just tell you how much
We
we get
sat
paid. I
there
don't care.
from we sat there from 10 o'clock to about 6 or 7 o'clock.
Yep.
We was there long as shit.
And then I still had to wake up earlier that morning. Like I probably woke up at 5 because we had to do pictures and stuff. And then from the pictures, I had to go over here. And then we had to finally, okay, now we're on set. So we go on set. And you know how you break. We was breaking a lot to eat because we had to eat and we'd come back on set. So we'd come back on set. And the thing that really pissed me off was when, and everybody probably gonna know what I'm gonna say, but when Soledad O'Brien, when she's like, because mind you, she has an earpiece in her ear. She never watched the show a day in her life. And she's like, oh, you're a sociopath. And then what really like, and I already told her like what annoyed me about that, like when cameras cut and we went to break, me and Soledad talking about other stuff now. She's not even talking about the show. And I'm like, girl, you just sat there and called me a sociopath. So no, I don't feel like talking about anything else because now I'm pissed. Like now I'm annoyed. And then you see about 2 or 3 producers come out on set and they're like, oh, Stephanie, we're gonna cut that out. I'm sorry that happened to you. There's other cast members who was like, Stephanie, are you okay? Like I can't believe she said that to you. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good because what they want me to
So
do, they want me to
did
show
they
out.
did they feed her a line, or
She had an
did they
earpiece.
just she did? Oh, so they was feeding her line.
Yeah, she had an earpiece in her ear because what was on the teleprompter was not that. She had an earpiece in her ear, and then she also
Right.
has her cue cards to say, like cue cards of what kind of questions to ask us. Because I feel like if you a host and you're gonna ask me a question, ask me a sincere question. Don't look on a cue card and ask me a question that they set out for you when you never watched this show. So yeah, I had big issues with her. So when they're like, okay, it's gonna get cut out, Stephanie, there's more that's gonna be shown. Don't worry about it. We're gonna show more. It just right now it seems like we're just showing the worst. And I told them, I said, you are showing the worst. You're cutting out pieces that there's much more to it. You're cutting out stuff and you're putting it on the screen to make people get pissed off. And they did. They put that on they put whatever they want to put on the screen. And then of course Jackie got pissed off and she was like, well, I come from the hood, I'll beat your ass, stuff like that. So I'm just sitting there like, girl,
I
okay,
seen
like
that.
I don't they wanted me to show out because I'm black. So they wanted me. They wanted me to show out and get up and fight. That's what they wanted me to do and I didn't because I knew that that's what they wanted. They wanted a reaction out of me and they did not get the reaction that they were expecting because I hold myself to a higher standard and like, okay, you're not about to show me like that because that's not me. However, now if somebody
Right.
is going now if she was gonna buck up and try to come for me and attack me, then I was gonna hit her ass back. It's clear as day. But she didn't come up. She only threatened me and said it. So that didn't bother me. I'm just like whatever because you weren't speaking all this big bad stuff in jail. You didn't want to beat nobody ass in jail. They done moved this person for your protection. They done then you left because you were scared of Swole. And I'm like, you didn't say none of that to nobody else in jail, but because I'm here and you have all the producers and all the cast members out here, now you want to be big and bad and bold and say stuff. And then also, like the cast members, when they were sitting on the set, mind you, I went in with Alan. So I did know Alan, but everybody else I didn't know. And Alan didn't say anything because
Is Island like a cop?
yeah, Alan was a cop.
Okay.
And Alan didn't say anything because he like I knew like I like Alan. I fuck with Alan. He's really funny. He's a really funny person. Now some stuff he say on his Facebook I don't agree with, but however, I feel like in general, who are you barking at? I'm sorry. He's a funny character. Like he's funny. Come here. And that's how he is. But I feel like everybody else who was on set, they were like, "Oh, Stephanie, you should apologize to her. I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you made her leave." And I'm like, y'all don't even know what happened. Just like I can't say what happened on the men's
Made who
side,
leave?
huh?
Made who leave?
They said like I
Made who
that
leave?
they said that I made Jackie leave. I made her leave. And then I was
And
irritated at
my whole thing is,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Okay, well I was irritated at and I know whether Nate meant to say it at that time or not. I was irritated at him at that moment because he was asking me like, "Okay, why did you do the show? Like, did you do the show for this or that? Yes or no?" And then he was like, "It's just a yes or no." Like, but don't ask me questions like that because I'm not in court. Don't ask me if it's a yes or no. I didn't do the show just to be on here. And then I was irritated because I feel like I done forgave Nate and everything, but I feel like at that particular point, he should not even ask me questions he knew nothing about because you watching the edited version. You're not even watching the whole thing. And it's like you coming at me,
Right.
yeah, like everybody was coming at me reckless. Like Angel was not. I could say that. Alan was not. Bucci, they call him Bucci. He was not. And neither was John. He didn't come at me crazy either. But some people were just like, "Oh, you should apologize. You just out here for the show," and then just coming at me reckless. And I'm like, y'all shouldn't come at me like that because I don't know y'all. I can't say what happened on the men's side. I can't say how you are as an individual. You're just going from what we're saying on set and what you're saying, and then like trying to attack me. And I'm like, that's not the
How you
reason.
gonna speak on somebody else's situation? How you gonna speak on somebody else's situation and you don't know the full situation? That's my whole thing with people on this platform. They like to speak out on other people's situation and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like it's some shit that I could say that people that people don't know, and they'd be like, "Oh, really? Like such and such slept with a producer?"
Oh,
And I'll be like, "Oh
I
yeah,
was just about to bring that up, mind
oh
you.
yeah, oh yeah." Certain people slept with a producer. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and we gonna
that
do
same
that. Everybody
person.
likes to talk.
Yeah, that was the same person who was trying to come for me, but that was the same person who also applied for Big Brother. So I'm like, why are y'all trying to come for me when I got hella text messages from people who they think that they friends, that they done slept with this producer. That producer's still all over their comments, all over them. It still got a whole boyfriend. But mind you, that's just me speaking what I want to speak. So if I was petty enough, I would be like, oh,
I
you
knew you
slept
was
with this
talking about the
producer.
same producer. I knew
Yep.
you was talking about the
Sure
same
am.
producer.
Sure
And
am.
it's like she the same. She the and we not even going to address her name because I swear for everything if they hit my phone up, I'm going up to New York because I'm only an hour away. But it's like she sat there, lied to us. She would lie to me in my face. I would tell her, I know that y'all lied about such and such. And I especially became angry after the reunion because when we was on the reunion, everybody thinks that I was so like chill and calm. I'm really mad as shit because one, Barbara, she start peeping out. She start telling me stuff like, listen, you don't peep such and such this. And then I'm just looking like, yo, that's really crazy. Like we 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 was just in certain situations and after, the reunion, you start to see people real colors. I'm like, hold up,
Oh
like
yeah.
you I'm like, word, you wasn't just like that and you get what I'm saying? And then they try to they tried their best to fuck me over and people still ended up loving me even though I feel like they did me wrong. They tried their best to fuck me over and make me seem like I was this non-strong ass person. And what people don't understand is you don't gotta be running around talking about, oh, I'm this, that, and the third. I'm saving this and that. And this is another because me that whole time, I played mind games with people.
Mhm.
Like I still made friends, but I played mind games with people. I don't gotta be up here, let me get in with this person to get right. I'm a mind person. I analyze stuff. Even the sheriff will tell you. The sheriff would be like, "Oh yeah, Isaiah, he real like." People don't even know. People don't even know. Me and the sheriff, we didn't have conversations off air, like over the phone, and he told me, "Hey, I think such and such then slept with such and such." And damn, I ain't mean to, but we didn't say the two people who slept. So, and I ain't say it was that producer because we just got off that, but we had certain moments where I was like, and I've seen that too, and told me stuff that nobody don't even know.
Correct.
And I'm just like, and it's not even about that. It's just like y'all sit up here trying to tarnish people's name and play these games where we really got loaded ammo. Like it's the stuff that y'all do ain't cool. That's my whole thing. Like, where's the integrity, the respect? Like, why is everybody trying to put on for this show? You get what I'm saying? Like, and I'm so glad because before when everything came out and they started to do everybody dirty, I was big mad. I'm not gonna lie, I was big mad.
Yeah.
I was coming at whoever, but as I come down, I could talk about it calmly because it's just like some of them people that do this show, they talk about you wanting to be on Survivor or Big Brother or etc. When most of y'all don't got no integrity or respect for yourselves at all,
Correct.
at all. And why? And why? If that's the case, because you can still go in there and make friends and etc. If that's the case, why can't you want to be on another show to get you some money and make a better life for yourself? Because at the end of the day, you a black person in America.
Right. And
You
I
feel me? Even
yeah,
if that wasn't the case.
yeah, and honestly, people from that show, whether they say and how I feel because I've seen it too many times on people's Facebooks or what they told me, not even trying to go back to that particular producer and people sleeping with each other, just to let that be known so whoever's watching, we are not the only two who know that. And I know me and you black, so I know people like, well, they're only the black people saying that. No, we are not the only
Yeah,
ones that know that
oh,
that particular
they gonna be
person
like the one
slept
that
with
was
that
smoking the
person.
crack stick.
Because I was told specific details of dinners and stuff after the fact. I was told specific like
Emails,
information and when these people met up and when
emails.
they ate together, like who's doing that? Because I thought it was in our contract that we are not to engage or have relations with people who do the show. Like literally, we weren't. That's in our contract, but therefore they made exceptions for certain people, and they're like, "Well, I love you. We're gonna make each other great." Like all this gibber jazz like that. I'm for sure she don't think we know about, but we do at the end of the day. So it's like you never want to come for me or state things that are lies about me because you don't want your dirty stuff aired out. Because I'm for sure you won't have another job on a television show.
Pathological liar
Yeah,
at
that's
that.
That's what it
She will sit
was.
there and lie to your fucking face. She will sit there and lie to your face, know you know some stuff, and lie to your whole face. Won't even say, well, let me admit, she will lie to your whole face.
Oh, I'm for sure
Like,
she will. She lied
when
to me
once,
about getting paid. She lied to me about that.
yeah, she will. And my whole thing is this, too, right? Because, you know, participants up to season 4, after season 4, nobody used to come to me after that. But I used to have participants who didn't get casted yet, like I told you before, talk to me before they came to, like, before they got casted, and I wouldn't know why. I guess other people, other participants didn't say nothing back, etc. Cool. They told a certain participant from your season, which you know who I'm talking about. They told her, she talked to me in the beginning, and she made it known, her whole situation. I knew about, the baby and like all the other stuff and etc. before y'all season aired. I knew a bunch of stuff because we were just having general conversations. They told her, and they hit me up because I still was kind of mad when season 4 aired.
Hmm.
They told me to delete a post, and they also told I forgot who told me, but they also told somebody that nobody from season 4 do not talk to them at all. And this was at the time I wasn't even I never was the person to reach out to other participants. Like I had a girl from season 3 reach out to me. We never she It was still in my old Instagram DM. If I probably go in my Dropbox, I probably still the screenshot.
Yeah, that's
She
what I'm saying. Like
asked me stuff. She ended up being a participant.
we all have receipts
Like
at,
how
at
you
the
gonna
end of
tell
the
people
day.
not to talk to me? And how you gonna tell people not to talk to me when y'all peoples is hitting me up? Like, tell them get your cast under control if that's how y'all want to be. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, cool. I really don't care. Like, get your cast under control. Don't try to sit there like for instance, I had a lady from A&e in particular. Her name started with a J or something. She found out that like this was around the time everybody was arguing and calling and cursing them out. We had this one participant on my show. He ended up going home early. He went and cussed A&e out because he didn't like how he was being portrayed. So I went and cussed A&e out, and at the same time, me and him still was talking. We were still cool. He was like, yeah, they was just apologizing, da 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 da. But did you know? And he told me the stuff that he said. So I know the stuff he said was more graphic than when I said to them. Did you know? They gave me a whole stack. I was like Isaiah, da da da, all this other stuff. Oh, you just want this, that, and the third, and you you want fame and all. Like it was like this lady. Like I never spoke to her, but she actually worked at the A&e like office, like because it was at a point where I was just like, you get what I'm saying? It was like they couldn't control what I was saying, and at a time when I did the show, they thought that I wasn't as smart as I was,
Hmm.
and they didn't know that I really just was sitting there analyzing everybody. And long story short, when he cussed them out, yes, it's a Caucasian male. When he cussed them out, nothing. We sorry, da 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 da, all other stuff. When it was me, oh Isaiah, how fucking dare you, da 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 da. Producers.
See
I
that?
can't make this shit up.
No, and like we don't make it up, and
I
people.
can't make this shit up.
And I'm so glad that we were on here talking and speaking out on it because like and a plethora of things from our show
Facts.
specifically because our show is very unique and different. And let me say this is very unique and different than Survivor or Big Brother. It's super unique and very different. So like the stuff we talk about is very real and it's personal. And the stuff that did hurt us definitely hurt us because it's not just one of those game shows. It's not like that. This is like a real life show where you really mess with people's lives. You really fuck with people's lives and they had every intention to do that. Like literally, I just read somebody's stuff the other day, and then they were saying like they were basically saying like well all these people who have relationships are not even together anymore. Like but that's what I'm saying. The show really messed up people's relationships, messed up their family, messed up like whoever they was with. It messed them up like doing the show.
Wait, wait,
Period.
wait, wait, wait. Repeat that.
So
I'm
like
sorry.
it was okay. I was looking on somebody's Instagram the other day. I ain't gonna say who, like, no, but I was looking on somebody's Instagram and somebody was like, basically, you're a great couple, da 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 da. Then I see the reply of like, well, it was about 6 or 7 people who are no longer together, Like nobody talks about that shit. I'm like, who even cares about? Why would you even talk about your relationships or why you're not together? Like if those people are not together and no longer with their wives or husbands or in the house, like why do you care? Like why are they to get on here and talk about their relationships? Just show messed up. And I will say the show had a lot of responsibility for that and messed people up, and the show messed them up. And even when they got out of jail, they were not the same. So I get that it probably was a lot of strain on people's relationships. And I don't know anybody's relationships or how it came out. I really don't care, but I did care about how it messed
Right.
up them in particular when they came out, because we did not get the help we needed. We were supposed to get a, a person to talk to, that one lady, a psychiatrist, but we never had anybody to talk to. So mentally, it messed up a lot of people, sent them into a really bad depression. They didn't want to work. They didn't want to go anywhere. They couldn't be around people. I mean, jail messes you up.
Right. Facts. And like I'll sit here and put it all out there on me personally. After the show, it wasn't even really. I think after the show, as far as TV wise, people talking about you, um, jail wise, a little bit. I'm not gonna say a lot. And as far as like just life overall, you jumping into it, like what they didn't tell y'all was I gave up my whole apartment to go and do that. And I came home and I had somewhere to stay for a little bit, but shit was really tight. And then
Hmm.
they didn't show y'all like there was reasons why I didn't do the Where Are They Now. They asked, could we come do the Where Are They Now, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't have nowhere to do the Where Are They Now. Put it like that. Like I was I would give it about 2017. My whole rest of 2016, 2017 was terrible. Like I was fucked up. Like I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was bad from the
Hmm.
whole mental health side. I'm one of those people. I suffered from depression way before that situation. So when it happened, you play with somebody's life and their character, and now everybody think that they this person when they not. You know what I'm saying? And like
Hmm.
you had people. I went to interviews and I I sat there and the guy was like, they asked that regular interview questions. They like, have you ever been to jail? I'm like, no. Boom, 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 boom. Ask me more questions. And he's like, yeah. So have you ever been incarcerated or anything? I'm like, no. Ask more questions. Have you ever been incarcerated? I'm like, all right, bro. Like, all right, you get on, and I'm going through a real tough spot in my life at that point, and I'm like, you're like, just can you just say it? Like, you're hinting that I've been in jail before. Like, you don't, and it's some people who watch this show that they IQ not up to par. I don't care if you could be a manager, etc. You don't really. A lot of people don't really. They watch the same thing we do, and they come out with different results. Like we didn't just
Hmm.
both watch the same show. So you asking me, have I been in jail, and then me not getting that job because you thought that I was really a convict or etc. It just it was crazy. Like they don't understand. I lost opportunities over that. Like it was stuff that was supposed to happen that didn't happen. And on that site too, they pulled a couple of strings off of people. I know that for a fact. Other people had other stuff they could have went and done. Me personally, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like I wanted to be somebody that like my life goal for a regular, I would say a regular job at like after I was to do college and stuff like that. I want to be a therapist.
Hmm.
So me going on getting extra money for myself, because I really don't want to do TV unless there's money involved. Like I'm not gonna lie, I have an empire to build. I'm just, you know what I'm saying. We could go in there, act, do what we want to do, etc. And I really did meet people out of 60 Days In that I fucked with, love. I just was talking to my bro, baby mom earlier. Like, this is from 60 Days In. Like, we naturally friends and cool now
Yeah.
after 5 years. So it just, she called me, talk about problems. Like, it's just, you get what I'm saying? That didn't go in vain, put it like that. But it just was one of those things where, like, they don't understand certain things that they did. Like, what was I about to tell you? It was something that happened, and fuck, that shit went right past me. But they don't get it. Like, and then they talking about we gonna give you therapy and all this other stuff. I had one therapy session. The guy really didn't even really say a lot, and then ended up telling me some stuff about Scotty. Like, bro, this is my therapy session, and don't get me wrong, he kind of seemed like a good therapist, but he started telling me some stuff that I really didn't even care about Scotty. Like, bro, you telling me intel, so for what? So I go back and use it against him, or I just, it just turned out to be really, like, shitty at the end of the day. Like, you
Hmm.
face a whole bunch of problems.
Yeah, you do. And this is what I would say about, because you could ask me more questions and I don't care, but this is my thing from A&E. Like, I think people, even whether they watching it or they going to replay it, and they're like, well, all this stuff happened. What do you want to happen with A&E? I don't want an apology. I don't want to speak to them any longer because I choose not to work with them. I want them to acknowledge that that's what they did and they had every intention on doing that. That's what I want them to acknowledge, because at the end of the day, it was all about ratings. And I am the same way with you. I'm in the same boat. Like, yeah, baby, who don't want to be on the TV show? But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sell myself short or sell my soul to the devil himself and
Right.
sign my life over for any amount of money, baby doll. It could be $2 million a year. It could be 3 million. I'm not doing that. I'm not
Right.
willing to set myself to such a low standard. That's not me, for somebody to portray me. That's not who I am. Like,
Right.
I just can't stoop that low because I did it before, unbeknownst to me, not knowing, and I'm not stupid enough to do it again. So it's like, for what I want from them is to
Right.
acknowledge it and then to move forward, and hopefully, and that's not saying like I don't, hopefully they don't have another show, but however, if they do have another show, it is to show the true light on people, how they are in the light of day, not editing them to seem like they're trash or uneducated or they're ghetto or they just want to fight or they're loud. It's to say, hey, this is how they are in the light of day. This is how this person is, white, black, Hispanic, is in the light of day. And show people, if you're going to really be about a documentary, not a television sitcom, because to me that's what it was. We exploited people. But and then also just like going to show and show,
100%.
yeah, show the good parts. Show where we talk to them. Show where somebody else talks to them. In the future, that's what I want for other people who do the show, even if it does continue. Show the good stuff that happened in jail. Don't always show the fighting and when somebody has an issue with somebody and when somebody don't like somebody else, because that's just tacky to me.
Because people don't really understand, like, besides the fighting and them, fucking stuff up and stuff, they didn't really show that, like, most of the time. It was like it was like a brotherhood some days when everybody wasn't fighting and trying to kill each other. They sat there, made whole pizzas out of ramen noodles, had everybody come over, yeah, go get some, etc. Da, da, da. Like, they didn't show a part where we was at gym and there was cameras in there. We was at gym. Somebody was shooting hoops. The ball flew, hit my plate. The whole plate of food flew, and I was like, "Yo!" Like, I didn't know if they was gonna give me another plate, so I was kind of pissed. So I was like, "Yo, what's going on? Like, why would you?" And then, lie to you not, the pod boss, everybody was like, "Yo, go pick that up," and they went to the door. Not me, but they made the person go pick it up. They went to the door, Zach included. Went to the door, knocked, said, "Yo, he need food, etc., etc." When I tell you, they didn't bring me back just one plate. They brought me back 3 plates. They don't show stuff like that though. They want to show, I, you having a hard time and you fighting and now you getting involved with drugs and stuff. They didn't show that people really was actually like, oh, you know what? You need to eat. You feel me? Like you a good person. I see you a good person. We not gonna just give you one plate. We gonna give you 3 plates. And then I sat there and gave them my corn dog on the plate because I don't eat corn dogs. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a selfish intent or anything. It was one of those things where it was just like, yo, like show a actual human side. Why are we
Correct.
just showing bullshit all day?
Just showing bullshit all day
Show
long.
human side.
And that's why I tell people, like, I remember, because it happens at the end of every season, when they take us on a reunion, like, hey, would anybody want to go back in jail? You raise your hand. And of course, yeah, dumb enough, I did. But when I actually thought about it and when I seen what they made me out to be, but also not just me, but will I say the people who used to be inmates because they are no longer inmates. I feel like they're human beings and people just like us. They just made mistakes and they were just in there at a wrong time. And I mean, that's kind of all they know. So that's what they do. So I don't hold them accountable. But what I will say is I would never do a show like that because I feel like I personally exploited them. And that's not who they were. Like they went on camera and didn't know it was 60
Yeah.
Days In. They went on camera thinking it was a documentary, telling these producers about their life, telling producers about what they go through, producers really pouring out their heart. And that stuff was edited out and it made them seem like everybody in jail, that's all these black people do in jail or any jail is just fight each other, cuss each other out. That's all we do, want to stab somebody, and that's not true. And to show them in that light was really wrong, was wrong in any regards. But to show us personally, if we have to live every day with it in our lives, was wrong. Because I would say people always ask me why I'm so attached to Lyric. I'm very attached to her because we had a really strong bond that was unlike anybody else's in that jail. Me and Lyric had such a strong bond. And I feel like I had a lot of love for her. I mean, I remember this one time she got kicked out the cell because there was a big fight, and she was not a part of it. Like this girl did not fight anybody. When she usually does, she did not fight that person. The person pulled her hair. She only punched him one time, but and then she left. But it was like this whole lie of her jumping people. So she left, and I remember she woke me up in the morning. She's like, "Step, step." I don't even have my glasses on yet. I was like, "What you want?" She was like, "I just want to tell you I'm moving to a different pod and I love you." For me, that was such a profound and powerful moment for me, but that was never seen. And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, I love you too." Like, and that was the last time I ever spoke to her. Like, I mean, we did little kites, but that was the last time I ever spoke to her, ever seen her. I tried to find her every time I got out of jail, I couldn't find her, and the producers are like, "Don't reach out to them, don't contact any inmates, don't have a relationship with them, just forget it ever happened." And I'm like, but that's not who I am, and I can't just forget them. I just can't forget Lyric. I just can't forget Prince. I can't forget people who told me their stories, and that's total bullshit for you to tell me to forget them. And the Colonel, I don't like him. He doesn't care about anybody in that jail. And he had a lot of issues too. Like they paid the Colonel.
Which did y'all have two? Did y'all have the two black colonels?
Yeah, but the female one, no one knows why she did not go on a reunion. That was a big thing for us. Like when we sat on there, I'm like, who? I'm like, where is she at?
So it was three.
Huh?
Wait. So Atlanta had the husky like black colonel, and then they had the other colonel, right?
Yeah, that's the only two we had.
Okay.
But I feel like, and this is how I feel. I don't know if it's true or not. I feel like the black colonel, the woman, because I forget her name, when she was on there, she told me like she would tell me stuff off of camera. So she was like, "I don't want this to be on camera. I want to tell you this myself," because she felt like the show was bullshit. But I didn't know it until like after the fact. And she also was not on the reunion. And then we asked the colonel, we asked the other colonel, we would say, "Hey, where's the female producer? Where, I mean, not producer, where's the female colonel?" And they're like, she was like, "Oh, she couldn't be here today." I was like, "That's not what I asked you. I asked you where she is at. Like, why isn't she on set?" And I believe she didn't want to go on set because she didn't want them to make her out to be something else. And she didn't want her words to be twisted. So I believe that's why she never showed up again. But the colonel, he only wanted money. He didn't care about them. And he even said, I remember when I told him, when we had to tell everything once we got out of jail. And he's like, "Oh, you're the one. You're the one. You're the best one in this whole program. You're the one." See, that part got cut out. And then when we go on set, when Soledad O'Brien says, "Oh, she's a sociopath," he's like, "I think so too." But I didn't catch that until after I watched the show because he whispered it. So I didn't hear that part. Like, well, if you really felt that way, then you should have spoke up on the reunion and not whispered it to. I don't roll with people like that. I don't fuck with people like that. That's not my cup of tea. And if you are, like, I don't want anything to do with you. And that's my thing. I don't like liars, and I make that very clear. If you lie, if you got any alternative
Right.
motives, I do not mess with you. But if you truthful, be truthful. Like, I fuck with you. Like, if I was really crazy and threw her under the bus and then I would have said that. But truth is, I don't
Right.
like her. I don't like her for a plethora of reasons. I don't like her. Like, I like Angel, sure. I forgave her for what she said, even though I feel like somebody told her to say that. Like, I forgive her. I wish her the best. I want her to do her thing. But I don't have any, like, strong relationships where I'd be like, oh, I want to call these people every day and have a relationship with them. Because some of the stuff that people were so big and bad, like they made them out to be good, you'll be surprised what they say to you on Messenger, or what they say to somebody else, or what they say, but the stuff that they post make it seem like they're just so beautiful, they're just so great, they love everybody, when in reality that's not true. And I just post what I feel and people don't
It'd be
like
like,
it.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just like, what the fuck? Like, who is this person? And it's crazy because, you have some woke people who see past the bullshit. Cause
Correct.
me, especially after our show, when I watch TV now, I don't watch it in everybody else's time. Since I know how everything works, like when I watch like a Love and Hip Hop or something, I'm not actually looking at it like y'all looking at it. Like, I'm looking at it like, yo, they swear she just said that and it's a voiceover. And it's just one of those things where it's like, going back to what you were saying about like them doing something or portraying to be like, I had somebody, and I'm not gonna say certain people, but I had somebody tell me, and I'm not with arguing with people, so that's why like sometimes I just ignore people. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
It's no love lost. You get what I'm saying? Like, you get. I'm at the point in my life. I was 19 then. I was still a teenager. I'm 24. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
it's just, I had somebody tell me, use the race card. Use the race card. What do you mean use the race card? To try to get my point across? But then I wouldn't be truthful, and it wouldn't be up to par if you just telling me to use the race card and make this situation where I have a valid situation on his own. Like,
Correct.
this is somebody from a whole different season. Like, use the race card. Like, um, I just don't go around using the race card. Like, it's really people out here who get discriminated against and etc. Like, I'm not just gonna use the race card. And I didn't tell him I felt a certain way about it. It just was like, oh, for real. Like, oh, okay, I see you. You get what I'm saying? I see you. Like, you get what I'm saying? People be portraying to be so genuine, and it's not what it is at all. Like, I see certain people relationships, and it's like, oh, and that's what I was gonna say. You know, some of the supporters that support the show, they ain't that stupid.
Mm-mm.
They not that stupid. When time goes on, and they didn't seen people rotate, and other people appeared in other situations, they're like, oh, I see. Like, I see you. Like, it's so much you can edit. Like, yeah, on the show, if we on one season, you can edit. But if somebody goes on and does other situations and stuff, like when you start to read stuff, you'll really sit there and say, you know what? I see what such and such is talking about. And I just hate that it took so long for you know somebody else to say something. Like, that makes me glad personally that you came along and said something, because when it was just me and it was just my season, like, and they was just starting to do season two all the time. Isaiah, can you take this down? Um,
Oh
I had
yeah.
producers accidentally text me and say, I don't know why he mad at such and such for such and such. And I'm like, yo, you do realize you just texted me what you was telling the other producer, right? Like, it's just you be made out to be this person. And I hate when people say, you know what you signed up for. I thought I did. It wasn't what I signed up for at all.
Correct. And that was the thing too.
It was
Like,
supposed to be a documentary series.
Thank you. And that's the same thing when it's like, well, she knows what she signed up for. They know what that's how they're going to portray her or make her seem. And then with some people, when they're like, oh, well, edit doesn't exist. Well, it does. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But even before that, it's like, I did not know what I signed up for. I signed my life away, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a good experience for me. And then when I watched myself on TV, I'm like, this is not what it was, and they lied to me. And I don't even know why I believed them or trusted them, because I don't even trust people in general unless I get to know them. But I'm stupid enough to sit there and believe them at 25 years old and trust them. I'm like, yeah, let me put my trust in them. Like, no, they fucked me over. And also, like, I will say that I am very happy, like, that we both spoke out
Real
about it.
quick, real quick, real
Yeah,
quick,
yeah, go ahead.
real quick. Oh, wait. I don't think it's gonna allow it, like it's gonna open it, it's gonna like stay in the partner, but I'm about to say if you this when you come back, I'll let you out and then go back in a few days. Yeah, okay, just write and let them know what happened. They got you. You're welcome. Yeah, my fault.
Oh, it's okay. Even before I start going, I was
But
laughing on here because I'm like, I love how he on the phone, and I'm just like, it's all good.
but
But
no, yeah, it's just
I think it's a lot. I
but
think
you
it's a lot, and
but
I'm
you was in
glad
the
we
middle of
both.
saying like what you saying? Are you frozen? Mm-hmm. No, I'm listening.
Watching
No, basically what I was just saying was I was just glad that
or when they replay stuff, we was going in and out. My bad. Or when we replay stuff, or when they replay it, that they look at it and be like, okay, Isaiah and Stephanie, like, this is them as the day, like, this is their true character. They're really speaking on the subject. And like, yeah, we said a lot of things that people obviously don't know behind the scenes, but it is what it is. And if you don't put it out there, nobody's going to know. Of course, we didn't put anybody's names out there, but if you don't know, then you don't know. And like, we don't make any of this stuff up. And I also want to, and I know you talked to him, but I don't, I'm for sure everybody know Bryce or whoever, even when they spoke out about Survivor. Now, I do love Survivor because I watch it and I do know they edit. Like, I understand that. However, you
oh
don't
yeah, he
know what
follows
goes
me.
on
I know who that is.
very well. Like, he loves the show. And I can tell that he has a lot of passion for that show, and I respect that. However, he's like, they had issues with our show. Like, they portrayed black people in a certain way, in a stereotype, where somebody came off lazy, somebody came off uneducated, somebody came off like just not doing anything. And that's not what it was, but that's how they edited them. But they love the show so much that they look past that.
Right.
Shows that come out and speak up on what it was and not just what people see, because what people see is not how it is whatsoever.
Yeah, it just kills me because like they, like you said, like on their show, the producers still work with them and etc. And in our show, it's really a whole bunch of favoritism. Like if you don't scratch this person's ass, you're not getting nothing, and we gonna give you a fuck up ass edit just because. Like if you don't do this or do that, like honestly, when you look back at it, everybody on my season had an interview, right? They did an interview with somebody somewhere, etc. Right? When they came to me and Robert was the only one that didn't get an interview, and I couldn't understand it because why? Like I made it to the end. Why is Jeff getting an interview? He didn't make it to the end. Like, and that's nothing to him, even though we don't like each other. Why would like why couldn't I get an interview? Why like what are y'all afraid of? You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like y'all, this is what I noticed. They edit you the way they edit you because they feel like that's how they see you or whatever is in their mind. They started to notice that I was catching everything that they was doing. Like towards the reunion, I was like, yeah, this is total bullshit. Like this isn't a reality show. Like this is this is some like I mean this isn't a documentary. This is some reality show shit. Like they making this to be Survivor. Like what I told you, what I didn't tell you was in the beginning when they first came up with the concept of the show, they told me that it was just about going in there and being there for your brother or you had your own personal reasons. That was what the first season was supposed to be based off of. It was supposed to
Mhm.
be based off of that, and it was supposed to be based off of like you making the jail a better place. It wasn't supposed to be like, and don't get me wrong, whoever you do what you do, like you do what you do. Just be honest with me because they weren't honest when I say that because at the end of the day, after it aired, it was oh intel investigate like where the drugs at, and this is what makes me mad because a lot of people go on there and I see a lot of people in the comments say Isaiah didn't do his job or Barbara didn't do her job or Jeff ain't do their job. When y'all didn't notice that before that, they was in the room popping all this different shit to us. They wasn't telling us the same stuff that y'all hearing. Like it's
Mhm.
supposed to be intel. No, I thought I was going for an experience to see, what was going, like how my brother was living, and to just see how everything was playing out. Like you get what I'm saying? I just graduated high school. I'm like, the same year, like 2 months before I just got out of high school. Same year, I'm like, let's see what this is about. They sat there and lied to me. This not even what the show is about. They make it about intel and all this other stuff. And like I said, if that's what you do, I don't discriminate against nobody. That's not me. But that's not what I wanted my situation to be brought upon. So they good for that. They good for like harping and scratching somebody's characters. Like yo, like I could have got killed. Like the reason why Robert acts the way he acts because he didn't want to fully be seen as a certain type of person. And when I say certain people didn't know and certain people did, they set different people in different rooms when we all first got casted. So
Hmm.
when you had what was his name? Aaron, that Aaron guy. You know what I'm talking about. When they had him in the room telling us certain situations on how to act, they had already said to us like, "Listen, this is your situation. This is why you going in." Little do you know, they cut to another scene and they got Miriam like, "Oh, I don't want to be, the girl that snitched and da 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 da." So y'all feeding other people different stuff so y'all can set them up for failure.
Mhm.
Like, for instance, they thought me and Barbara was gonna be the weak ones. That's what they did. they put in, and I need people to realize too. They don't just throw y'all cast together. They don't throw y'all cast together at all. They're stereotyping y'all before the cast is even put together. That's how they making. Oh,
Facts.
let me who going? You feel me? Da 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 da. Who not gonna like each other? Like them throwing Jeff in there. They knew like Jeff wasn't going to. You get what I'm saying? Like they thought I was gonna go in there, and since I said I got a brother that's in jail and I'm from this, that, and the third in the hood, they thought I was gonna be a certain way, and it's like I'm not putting myself out there like that. Even though I messed up a little, I'm not putting myself out there like that. And that's why that producer got mad when he was like, "So are you gonna really do anything?" Like he wanted me to get into drama and situations, and I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it.
And that's why our season, and I will say that's why our season was the highest ratings that they had, because it was a lot of drama in it. It was a lot of me and Jackie going back and forth and bickering, and then a lot of this reunion stuff and everything that got cut out. But they made it seem like, yeah, they have so much drama. And then Angel, whatever she did, what she did, it was like, oh, we have all this drama, we have all these ratings, great. Let's keep making more shows, because the more ratings they have, the more shows that they're able to produce. I'm like, with a $3 million budget, you are damn sure they're going to put out each character however they feel like putting them out, because they have a $3 million budget to work with. They pay the jail, they pay us crumbs, they tell us what to do, they tell us what to say, and we're ignorant enough at that time to do it, and they save who they want to save, and they like who they like, and then they're going to do whatever they want to do regardless. Because even like you said, after the show, like now, the only thing I did, I got one phone interview, and that's it. A lot of the black people, and I hate to put this on race again, sorry, but a lot of the black people did not get interviews. Like I got one phone interview that nobody ever
Back.
seen, nobody ever heard. I have no clue where that phone interview
Talk
was
that
at.
shit.
I looked it up. I don't even know where that phone
They
interview doesn't
they
exist. And the producer was on the phone with me when I did my
they
interview.
and they always would be like, well, we need to preview it or we need to see what it's about. And it's like a lot, like you said, a lot of the black people, they didn't get any they didn't get no interviews, anything. They wasn't really to market it. They really put us in there to like to see if it was going to be spicy or however they thought that it was going to be. When you look at my season, you don't find nothing on me. It's like they try to erase me like I didn't even exist at a point. Like the way they put my character and the way they dent my life so low, I was like, it has to be an ulterior motive, because it was so much more that happened just with me in general from the show and the stuff that they didn't show y'all from the beginning. They had so many other things they could have went with. And when I sit there, I'm like, wow, like y'all got certain people playing their lives out and etc. And like with me, like you just see